And I just recently heard Priscilla Steyer. She was like, at the end of your prayer, say, God, do it or do something better. Please do something better,
Mm,
Father. Because my prayers
please.
aren't even probably
Because
touching
I
the
don't even
surface.
know what I did. I know what I deserve, but I don't know what I can have.
You know what I said in this prayer, God? I just need you to move. Been in Paris. I've been in Cabo. I had a great time. I got to perform with Big Tigger. And like what on stage with I used to watch The Basement growing up, and now he's standing right next to me. Like, be for real. So it's your own journey, even though there's a lot of chaos happening. And so you just roll with it, and yeah. But I do see people don't know what you do behind the scenes. I be in my word. I be studying my Bible. I be praying. Like, I have me time, self-care. I let my love be real, self-care. Like, people.
I'm a wanderer. I started as a love song. 33 years in the making.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Spotless Minds podcast, where we talk about all things beauty, health, and wealth for women. It is your host, Olivia Jonelle, and I'm so excited because today I am with the sweetest person I know, the most beautiful soul I have ever met. She is an author, an actress, a clothing brand designer. It is the lovely Markia Butler. Yeah. I hear like claps in my head, like once that part happens.
Hey.
Markia. Okay, so I love to start out this episode with, how was your week?
Girl, it was beautiful. It was full of just peace and joy. Like BET wrapped up here in LA. My family is in town. I went to a K Camp concert. Like, it's just been bananas.
K Camp?
Yeah. He did
What?
so great. Oh, he put Baby Just Be Comfortable. That is my song.
What? Wait,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
So the concert, so a friend of mine, she just like sent me over the link. She was like, "Girl, you down?" And I'm like, "Who is it? Take it. I'm down. I'll be there."
You've been outside this summer, Paris with Beyonce, K Camp. Like, what?
Life is lifing right now, and you want to take opportunities as they come, and not necessarily not miss out. And it's not fear of missing out. It's just like, this opportunity is presented. So guess what? Let me slide. I'm sliding. I'm going. I went to Disneyland in Paris. Like, it was so beautiful. I haven't even been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World. I'm from Florida, Jacksonville. But don't tell anyone. It was beautiful.
It's that season for you, it seems like, where you're just saying like yes to everything.
My yes season.
The Shonda Rhimes book, like, just say yes.
Fantastic. That's definitely right. So yes, it's my yes season right now, not for the year.
Okay, just the season.
The season.
Okay. So can you tell the people a little bit about you, where you're from, and then also about the beautiful clothes you're wearing? Let your love be real, your brand.
Yes. Okay. Hey, everyone. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. I am Markia Butler. I am the owner of Let Your Love Be Real. And Let Your Love Be Real is an actual Bible verse. It's let your love be sincere, abhor from evil, cling to what is good. It is Romans 12:9. And that began maybe about over 5 years ago, when I was on a train, metro, here in LA. And there was a guy, I don't know if he was nonverbal, I don't know anything about him, but he had this board on his lap, and it was kind of face down, and he lifted it up. And I was half asleep because I just did a commercial, and I was on the transit going home. It was about 6 a.m, and my eyes opened at the same time he lifted the board up, and it said, "Slowly giving up on life." And my heart immediately like sunk, because it's like, you don't want to be in a space around someone and not do anything to maybe interject when it comes down to the precious, beautiful life that we have. Because all we have is today. Tomorrow gonna take care of itself. Yesterday is gone. And so whatever we do today is what matters. And so now it's 6 in the morning, I'm exhausted, but I had a napkin in my pocket and I had a pen. And so I wrote something down on the napkin. I folded it up and then I handed it to him. And I saw him slowly open it up. And I wrote, "Never give up, King. Have a blessed day." And he didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, but we both smiled like this jubilant, like this really joyful, like, in my smile was saying, "I believe in you. I don't know what is going on, but I hope that, you have a blessed life and that this day just gets so much better for you." And his smile was just such a grace and a peace that just kind of overflowed onto me. And I was like, when I left, because we never said anything, my stop was up and I got off. And I was like, "God, what was that moment? Like, what was that about?" And it was a let your love be real. It was a see a need, feel a need. It was, we're all human. And it was a humility that was expressed in that moment. And we were able to share that. I don't know who the person is to this day. But I did want to set a marker in my life for that. And that's where this brand comes from, Let Your Love Be Real. So when you see something going on, if you have means or a way to get a message to someone, do it.
I love that. I love that story. That's so deep. That's so deep. And it hits me because it's so funny. Lately in life, like I've just been so like super intuitive and feeling people's energy, the nonverbal energy.
Mm.
And that feeling is so deep and so unexplainable when it's like exactly what the other person's thinking. So that's beautiful. So how'd you end up getting into like making shirts and stuff?
Yes. So I'm like, okay, how can I get this brand far and wide? Well, this message far and wide. And first you gotta live it. You gotta be what you're talking about. And so I thank you for saying at the beginning, like one of the sweetest people you've met. Um, People kind of misconstrue sweet, kind, and meek and things like that as if you're not a little, a bit, and I don't want to say like hood, but like hold it down on your own. So
Yeah.
this is not like a walk all over you type of situation. It's a stand in your boldness, stand in your confidence. So it's like, how can I get that message out there? Like, we need each other. We're all dealing with things. There's so many things people are, we're dealing with and not able to really express verbally. So it's a non-verbal way. So I was like, okay, let's get this on a shirt. Let's get this on a sweatshirt. Let's get this on a hat. Yay! So we have
So
a bucket
cute.
hat. Boop, doop, doop. My favorite bucket hat.
So cute.
So yes, it's like, let's get this message out there. And I've gotten so many compliments on like, Let Your Love Be Real. Like, oh my gosh, that's really nice. Like someone just ordered today, actually, which I was like, I woke up to order, like, hey. So
That's
yes,
a
like
vibe.
getting the message out there, just it's a brand to be worn for sure.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you don't see a lot of clothing brands really speak on love, speak on kindness. Not a lot of brands are doing that, so that definitely makes you stand out. How has doing this in conjunction with your acting career been?
So that is a great question. And I want to say, once again, like living it. So when you're on set, you just be kind to people because we're all having baggage coming to work. And so just being kind and being friendly and understanding that you are an individual, you are important, you are a lot of things, and you are continuing to evolve, right? So when you go to work and you are taking on certain tasks, you have to be all these different people sometimes when you're at work, because being an actor, you play a lot of different roles. And I would say in conjunction with it, you know who you are, you are secure in who you are, and you be who you are, and then you have to be this other character who is not you a lot of times. And so just being able to at the end of the day come back to who you are is just something so powerful, because some people take their work home. So I feel like this brand has helped me to be certain about what I want and what I don't want, and then being able to build that character of what they want and what they don't want.
I love that. I love that. How long have you been acting?
So I would say about over 4 years. Over four
Okay.
years. Of
Okay.
course, like professional, but like when younger growing up, I was in like a lot of theater productions growing up. So I am theater groomed. And I came to LA for the television side of everything. But yeah, so since I was little, for sure, I was watching, 101 and the Proud Family. I would love to be a cartoon character, so that is a goal of mine. I
Mhm.
always say, but Markia, is that Markia? I'm like, so very distinguished. But yes, so since I was little.
I just had a vision of you putting your like clothing brand on a cartoon. Like as just like a marketing pitch. That was just like a marketing idea that just came in.
Gotta make
I
it
love
happen.
that. I love that. I love that. Okay. And so one of the things that I've been kind of really thinking about lately is that as I'm like posting on social media, I feel like my message is very positive, and people want to see negativity. Like that seems to be what gets the most likes, gets the most Blueface, Krishan, like they're getting the most attention right now, instead of the people who are preaching, let your love be real, like get up, work, like be your best self. How do you feel like that has affected your brand, and what do you have a solution for it or a thought behind that?
I haven't had much thought behind it. I do believe that everything happens in timing. And so when it's your time to shine, it's your time to shine. Right now, it may be theirs. And we don't know the purpose behind what is happening with their story and where it will end up. And so I've seen their story from time to time. I can't, sit and watch. I cannot watch abuse. I cannot watch it. Um, but I am familiar with their story. And I do know that at the end of the day, that God will get the glory. That's
Mm,
all. Sometimes we just have to trust the process. I feel like that isn't a process, that's their process
mm,
that's being explained. And their story could be a lot of people's stories. That may be why a lot of people relate to, maybe the
mm,
toxicity of it and things like that, because everyone knows, in the comments it's constantly like, oh, this is so unhealthy, so unhealthy. you know that's what people are drawn to. But I just know that at the end of it, God will get the glory, and that there's a story to be told. We all have stories, and that's what I won a scholarship for school recently, and they asked about your voice and my voice, like what can I use a scholarship for in media and things like that. And I had to let them know that just because you have a bunch of Black people in one room doesn't mean we all have the same story. And so I was like, you can ask one question and get like 50 different answers to it, and we're all Black. So I just feel it's something similar to that. Like we just all have different stories, and the stories that are being highlighted sometimes are more relatable to people, and that's unfortunate. And yeah.
And that's why it's even more important that your brand is here, because clearly that
Yes.
is more relatable to people.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. Okay. How has living in LA been, how has that been for you recently? I haven't been
Bananas.
since I haven't been since COVID.
It's always bananas.
So I'm
Oh
curious.
wow. Oh, chat girl, listen. Being in LA, chat, it's a car chase almost every day. You just turn news, you're like, why? What is happening over here? The smog, the right now we are going through a strike for, writers, actors, like you're not working. Like, what do you do? So yeah, it's always
The actors are on strike too?
it was a yes vote, so I don't know if it's into play right now, but
Wow.
majority of the actors were like, let's strike as well. So I don't think it's definitive at this moment, but so the work is
Wow.
definitely slowing up. And yeah, yeah, it's bananas.
Wow.
Yeah. But
That's
it's
intense.
you make it like anything, you make it what you want it to be. So like
Mhm.
you said, I've been in Paris. I've been in Cabo. I, you know, had a great time. I got to perform with Big Tigger at
Mhm.
BT, like what on stage with. I used to watch The Basement growing up, and now he's standing right next to me. Like, be for real. So it's your own journey, even though there's a lot of chaos happening. And so you just roll with it, and yeah. But I do see people don't know what you do behind the scenes. I be in my word. I be studying my
Mm.
Bible. I be praying.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
I have me
Mm.
time, self care. I let my love be real, self care. Like people don't see the things you do behind the scenes. They only see the highlights that you maybe post on social media.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like people always like, you always outside, you always doing something. It's because I pray. It's because I'm getting close to God. It's because I understand
Mhm.
eternal life, and I do want that. And so, it's all about what you want and what you want to do. And people look at you like we're doing the same thing. Our prayers are different. Like you gotta know what you want. And I'm not even to sound like in a cocky space because it took forever to get here, right? Like I'm finally to a space where I'm able to express myself. Like, God, you are so good to me. You're a good, good father. Like I was not like this, years back. Like I used to be like, okay, maybe I think I can pray more this morning. Like, no, Lord, listen, Father. And I just recently heard Priscilla Steyer. She was like, at the end of your prayer, say, God, do it or do something better. Please do something better,
Mhm.
Father. Because my prayers aren't
Please.
even probably
Because
touching the
I don't even
surface.
know what I did. I know what I deserve, but I don't know what I can have.
You know what I said in this prayer, God? I just need you to move.
I,
So,
you know,
yes.
everyone's always like, what was Sierra's prayer? And who else they say that about? One other girl who they like
Remy Ma.
Remy Ma. Yeah, they're like, what are their prayers for love? And I'm like, I don't hear people say, what's your prayer for your self-love? Where's
Mm,
that prayer? Because that's
you're
more
growing.
important than a husband. You can't have the husband without that prayer first. Because if you do, ain't no telling what
Yeah.
man, ain't no telling what man you get. You get that Krishan and Blueface type of marriage and love without that self-love prayer first.
Listen, I was having a conversation with a friend recently about, rushing into something. And so she was sharing like, oh yeah, so as soon as I find somebody good, I'm gonna be like, boom, 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 we doing this, and this. And I was like, pause. Look, can I raise my hand and listen, because just because you get to the altar, there's no miracle at the altar. I don't know what pastoral person said that I was listening to, but they were like, there is no miracle at that altar. And so it does take time to get to know someone. There are couples that thrive. They've probably reached a few levels. They've figured out what they want and they know themselves. And they're like, yes, let's join together because I done checked out my boxes or I done figured everything out that I wanted and everything else I can work with. But then you also have couples that maybe they didn't see a certain side of that person. That person's side comes out after the marriage because it was a rush. And now, certain things are happening behind the scenes that shouldn't be. I don't really want to talk about it because it's very sad that some, things that be happening in certain relationships. But it's like you don't rush. You just take your time and figure out what you want because you don't know people really. And I love when couples are like, it takes years. They're like, we're 5 years in. I have no idea who this person is. But also, when you're in relationships, we're also evolving in those relationships. So we need space to do that too and grow. So
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us you don't have to tell us the exact prayer, but some stuff in your prayers that you affirm that has helped you get closer to God and closer to the path that you feel like you should be going on?
ooh, I gotta sit in that one. Um, so definitely in my prayers, I'm always like, let your will be done. That's one thing you just, because at the end, I want to be outside of what you're saying, do. And one other prayer is I was like, God, I want to hear your audible voice. And I haven't heard it yet. And I have friends that are like, I've heard God's audible voice. I haven't heard it yet. I was like, because I would like, I'll probably die in that moment because he knows I probably wouldn't be able to handle it. He's like, I'm giving it to you when I'm there. But I'm like, God, continue to order my steps. My favorite scripture, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. My prayers are really simple. And I was like, God, thank you for making me, like you and humble. And Lord God, continue to give me peace in this, God. Like, what is it? Like when you don't have any worries, it's like taking away the worries. So you pray for the things that will not allow you to worry. So it's not like all beauty and all the like, God, where's your peace? I need that so I can maneuver in this day. And I was like, thank you for giving me your daily bread because you say you supply that. And what that daily bread is, you pick it up as you go along. It's one of those things where he's like, I've called you and then I've called you and then I've chosen you. So I'm going to give you what you have in that moment. So even leading up to this podcast, you're like, God, I don't know what I'm about to say on here. But I was like, God, let your words and your heart be shown over, anything I may have to say, because you're going to always do it better than me. So it's literally walking in a peace.
Mm. I love that. I love that. And you say you haven't heard his audible voice. And like, I don't know your belief on what the voice should be like,
Sound
but
like, mm-hmm.
yeah, sound like but I kind of always thought it was my voice.
I thought that too. And I still think that can be it. But
Yeah.
also speaking with friends who have heard his audible voice, they're like, it's a soft, sweet voice that it just ministers to you. And I'm just like, is that my so that's what I'm like, it's such a mystery. And but I love that. Like it's like you can't encompass God. You can't put God in a box. You can't say this is what his voice sounds like. You just can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I'm like, maybe I haven't heard it. Maybe I have, but I'm gonna stick to I haven't. So I want to keep hearing it, if not.
Well, you gotta text me or call me the day you hear it and be like,
Girl, I'm gonna be deceased, probably.
my life is complete. Okay. I love that. So, outside of prayer, is there anything that you do currently in action that leads you to God as well?
Volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to share a quick anecdote. I was in the car one day and things were kind of going and they weren't going. It was kind of just like a weird space I was in. And I was listening to the radio. I don't really remember where I was headed, but I was listening to the radio on Air Personality. And she was like, oh, I have some advice. There's this dad that he gave advice to his daughter who was going through like a relationship issue, and I don't know if it was like a divorce or something, or just going through something. And so the dad gave the daughter advice, and she was like, after this message or this song, I'm gonna share the advice. So I'm in the car like, okay, I guess I can just stay on the station longer. I'm not here for all the stuff in between. I'm like, just tell me what's going on. So I listened to that station for a minute, and then it came back and she was like, well, the dad gave advice to the daughter and said that if you're feeling some type of way, go and volunteer, because when you help someone else, it in turn help you. So I was like, that is so true. And so I was like, cool. So I would love to go and do something today or soon, right? So that evening, I was like on Instagram just scrolling, and of course, a message I've never seen before, like a profile that I would normally see, pops up, and I was in the stories, and it was like, "Hey, we need volunteers tomorrow. We're doing this foster care situation where the youth can come and shop for free, brand new stuff, but we just need help putting things together. So it's like putting like hygiene baggies together, setting up the little shop for them so that they can get the things that everyday kids have at school that they wouldn't normally have access to because these things are expensive. And so I was like, hey, I'm down. I'm available. What's up? And so she sent over the information, and then I sent my information back, and boom, the next day I was there. And when I tell you, it was the best time. I met some amazing women, and I even connected with a few of them. Like another young lady with me on her podcast. Like it was just so beautiful to see God move that quickly and to be able to connect with a brand new group of people and to also give back and do things that that doesn't really do anything for your self gain, right? It's just for these youth to make sure that everything is set up. So we're putting like pads and just different toiletries, and then they got purses, just things that they need every day, notebooks and shoes and clothes, like brand name stuff that have been donated, so these youth can, so they can function every day, right? And it's free. All of it was free, and it was just so beautiful. So I was like, God, I see what you did there. I see what you did. So if how does God talk to you? That was so clear.
Yeah. That's what I was saying when you said, like, I didn't hear his voice. I was like, I know it's not maybe like, well, see, the thing is, like, another thing is, I, like, as I keep listening to Shira, Sprinkle, Sprinkle, I am like, I'm really getting into the mindset where it's like, God is a woman, or at least feminine energy. Okay. I would hope he wouldn't be a man and then be feminine, but God is a woman in my perspective at this current belief in my life. And so when I hear my voice, it's like, it's a very feminine voice. I'm not expecting a man.
Yeah. And I
And
know, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was gonna say, one thing I know God will do is meet you where you are. So if that's what you want to hear, need to hear, whatever, like God will meet you where you are. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Okay. How has your feminine journey been, like, becoming it's like all over TikTok and Instagram about just femininity now and getting more into your feminine energy, that soft life era, that all this stuff that's been coming up, and women empowerment and more women working together. How do you feel about all that stuff, and how have you seen that in your life?
Great question. Now, it is so beautiful to be able to call my aunt if I'm like, Auntie, I'm not feeling well. Like, what's up? Like, what do I gotta do? She used to be a nurse. Um, it's so beautiful to call a friend like, girl, this guy is tripping. Like, let me explain to you what just happened, and you tell me. Like, I just love the bonding, the womanhood that is being built around me, to be able to stand in my own power, to be able to know who to call and reach out to when things, because there's no book. There's no guidebook. We are each other's guidebook, to be honest. And that's why you have professionals. And sometimes you don't always have professional. I have a Black woman therapist who I love. I do recommend therapy. And to just have someone professional talk it out. Because sometimes you can't always just call your friends and be like, girl, it's not the blind leading the blind, but kind of, unless you bring a therapist. But so, yeah, like I love it. I'm learning, because I had to learn the term soft girl era. I was like, oh, I'm in my soft girl era. Like I had to understand what that term really was. And so, yeah, just allowing you to be more in a peaceful state, because that's a blessing to even be that.
Well, my question is, how do you do that though? Like, what's been helping you stay in that soft girl era, even through all the crazy times?
I get the terminology, get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. Yes.
I've literally been walking in that, like, if it doesn't serve me, you gotta find somebody else to play with.
That quote lives rent free in my head. Like, anytime I don't want to do it, get somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
you have to
sum it all up.
I love that.
Why not?
I love that.
Okay, so something sweet I really want to share. A guy friend of mine. So I wasn't feeling well at work. I don't know if I had food poisoning, but I actually threw up and I got sent home. I was like, and I didn't have any gas in my car. So because like I'm gonna make it to work, and as soon as I get off work, I'm gonna go straight to the gas station. I didn't know I was gonna get sick. So
Mm.
I had to decide because as soon as I got in the car, the light came on, and I was far from home, but I was just enough that I could either make it straight home or go to the gas station. I was like, we got choices because I don't know if I'm gonna throw up again in this car. And I was like, you better not throw up in my car, like talking to yourself, like,
Mm-hmm.
no, we gonna make it. So I ended up going home. And when I got home, I called a guy friend of mine. I was like, hey, would you, put gas in my car just on a whim? Just like, would you do that? And the first thing he said was, yeah. I was like, that is what? Okay. He didn't say what's going on. No, he was like, yeah, but tell me what's going on. Of course. And I was like, da da da. So then he was like, okay, when I'm on my way, I'll get there. So then he ended up calling me again because he was busy in the middle of something. He ended up calling me again, and he was like, okay, so now what do you need? Do you need gas money, or do you need me to get your car and put gas in it because I'm on my way to you? So either way, he was on the way, and I was like,
Ooh, we love that.
father. So I was like to take my car because I don't want to leave the house because I'm not feeling well. He was like, say less, and he was like, I'm gonna call you when I'm outside. Came, picked up my car and dropped it off, and was like, all right, I'll see you later. Thank you. Soft girl era, just like being able to, I don't have to do everything on my own to know to be able to speak up and say, hey, this is where I need help at, and could you do that for me? Like,
Allowing the masculine to show up for you too. I was having a hard time doing that before. I like you said, want to do everything by yourself, figure it out. Like, no, ask, and expect too. Like,
and expect. Because
okay,
I was bold enough to ask. I know I'm expecting it.
now you know you can't say no. I love that. Okay, so we are wrapping up here. So I want to get into this podcast isn't about dating, but I'm just curious. How is
I'm
your love
curious.
life
I'm
going?
curious.
I'm curious.
Somebody else to do it.
I am curious because I haven't heard you talk about nobody. So I'm like, are you dating? Are you not? Like, what's going on?
Now I have been. I think there's like a slide that it's like women over a certain age. You have like 3 to 5 days to show me what's going on, or I'm out. I'm there. So I meet guys all the time. People are really genuine, really sweet. But you kind of know, as well as the guy knows, the woman knows too what she's looking for. And so I'm real quick with it. I like, oh well, thank you. No, this ain't working out for me. So that's how it's going. I'm really like, let me put my career to the forefront. Let me put my brands. And I also have a Bubble Thoughts journal. It has a love letter in it. It's on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. And so it's
Link
a
will
it's a
be in
letter
the
of
bio.
empowerment. Link will be in the bio. It has a letter of encouragement. And it's 12 journals. Get all 12. So yeah. But yeah, so I'm not really in a space where I'm like kind of open to um the wrong person, I
Okay.
would say. But there is a guy that I am interested in, but taking it slow.
Okay. Okay. Interest is fun. Interest is a fun
Yes.
space to be in. It's a good energy to be
Mhm.
in. So I like that. Okay. Okay. Well, it was amazing sitting down with you today. I love everything we went over and covered today. Can you let the people know how to get in contact with you, where they can find you at, and your journals and your shirts and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. And TikTok, Facebook, Markia Butler. It's Markia Butler. And you can also find my clothing brand at letyourlovebereal.com. It's literally like spelled out. And Bubble Thoughts Journal is also on Instagram, as well as Let Your Love Be Real. They're all on Instagram, and the websites. You can go to markiabutler.com for Bubble Thoughts, and you can go to letyourlovebereal.com. Bubble Thoughts is also available there, and it'll take you. If you click on the photo, it'll take you straight to Amazon to grab a journal.
Yay! All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation today as much as we did. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.